Welcome to TruPorch Homes. Today we're going to talk about our core values, what makes our organization unique and different than maybe some other firms, and we're going to go into detail what makes the TruPorch way and the TruPorch culture so different from other firms. What does TruPorch do? At its core, TruPorch is a learning and teaching organization in the real estate business. And I say this all the time. We're not a real estate company. We build houses, we also build people. So at the core of what we're doing and the operating system that we operate with is a learning organization. And through that learning organization, we have operations and leasing, maintenance, business development, and finance. So all these organizations, all those pieces work together. But at its core, TruPorch Homes is a learning organization. Our two company focus areas are on long-term rental and short-term rental. So I like to think about it in terms of a football team or a sports team. We have an offense and defense. So the offense is short-term rental and the defense is long-term rental. So we have the two kind of bifurcated businesses, and those are kind of the two company business units. And from a company function perspective, we have a lot of other items that we go through each sub-segment of the business. We have a leasing operations, we have a operations piece, we have acquisitions, and we have maintenance. So we have distinct kind of service pieces that kind of service both business units of short-term rental and long-term rental. Who is TruPorch? TruPorch's mission statement is to become the best real estate firm, providing great service to our residents and guests while delivering financial results for our clients. What are our core values? Our core values are self-development, research, detail-oriented, perseverance, responsibility, and teamwork. These are the values that hold our team together, and that's what's consistent and congruent with our organization. I'll go in more detail. Teamwork. Unity is strength. 2, research. Resource-driven solutions. 3, detail-oriented. Details drive perfection. Perseverance. Overcome challenges. 5, responsibility. Take ownership. 6, self-development. Positive growth mindset. Teamwork. We is greater than me. We collaborate as one team. People are stronger united. One individual on our team can't make our team great, but one bad individual can destroy our team chemistry by making bad decisions, destroy everything we've been working on building together. Here's an example. We're in the process of getting a basement permit for 3372 Sweetwater Drive. And because we all kind of wore the different hats and kind of added the responsibility, we were able to become successful. So Meryl created the floor plans and layouts. Leica checked Meryl's work and collected and submitted online paperwork. She communicated effectively with Maya to print out the documents and make sure the documents were complete. So Maya checked Leica's work to make sure that that was complete. And then Tony took Maya's documents and took the documents to the Gwinnett County office and got that taken care of. So it's really kind of it's a team effort here. You know, you say who was responsible for the success of us getting the permit? And I would say the team is, because everyone played a part. You could argue that Tony was the last person that touched this, so she should get credit. Or maybe you could say Leica because she submitted the paperwork. But ultimately, the success is the team success and not an individual accolade. And then again, analogy I like to say is in American football, there's 11 players on the team. Only one person gets the football. The person that gets the touchdown, maybe a running back, you would say gets the success, all the accolades. But it's 10 other guys on that team that had to work really hard in order for that running back to score the touchdown. How was he able to score the touchdown? Because there needed to be a running lane, and the offensive line needed to create an opportunity for him. Was it the offensive line that created a hole for him? Was it that tight end? And maybe the tight end created the key block in order for that running back in order to slip in for a touchdown. So those 6 points, is that the running back's success or is it the team success? Everyone had to do their job in order for the team to have success. And that's what true teamwork is at TruPorch Homes. Responsibility. Responsibility is about taking ownership, acting like the owner, checking on yourself, and taking responsibility for your work. One thing that doesn't resonate here at this organization is pointing fingers. So if there's a mistake made, you point fingers to someone else to say it wasn't me. That happens at a lot of other organizations, but doesn't happen with us. We take ownership. If you make a mistake, own up to it and learn from it. There's an opportunity to learn and grow from something that happened, and to continue to become better as a person, as an individual, professionally and personally. But if you point fingers at someone and say, it wasn't my fault, it wasn't my responsibility, then you never learn and grow from that. An example of this is, we'll get to an example later. It's important to also speak up and take initiative. So just because it's not part of your job title, but you notice it needs to get done, I think it's important to just get, to confer with whomever's got the responsibility. If they're not able to do it, just take ownership and to take initiative and get the job done. Own the task until the finish line. It's important to make sure that you have safe hands and you're able to finish and complete the task to the finish line. You would argue, is the job done? Is the job done? Sometimes the job is not done. You think you finish your task, but is our target condition reached? We talk about target condition a lot at this organization, and target conditions are not reached, but you completed your task, it's handed off to someone else. The job's not done. Job's not finished. We have to make sure the job's finished to the finish line and everything is done properly. We have a lot of trust and full autonomy at this organization. I trust and fully give autonomy to everyone at this organization. What I like to say is, if a junior person makes a mistake, they're afraid to make a decision because they're afraid of making a mistake. And I say to them, if something bad happens, now again, if this is your first time doing it, something goes wrong, is it really a mistake or is it my responsibility? Is it my responsibility because I'm in charge of the process and I'm responsible for your development? So it's actually my responsibility that this bad thing happened. So you could see it as a mistake or you can see it as a learning opportunity. And I'd rather call it a learning opportunity than call it a mistake. So if something bad happens, but you follow the process, you follow the procedure to the T, but something bad happens, then it's my fault because I created the process and procedure. So I take full responsibility for it. So you shouldn't be afraid of making decisions and choices based on a process. And we have a very supportive and collaborative culture that there's a lot of other people in this organization. If you don't feel comfortable making a decision, to check in with them and to get more comfort in terms of making the right decisions. There's a lot of people in this organization who have a lot of experience. And, if you don't feel comfortable, feel free to check in with them. And that way you can build the confidence to make decisions. I think that's very important. And we have something called areas of responsibility at this organization, AOR. We have clear alignment on responsibilities towards achieving our target conditions as an organization and our objectives for the quarter and for the year. I think that's very important. Here's an example of responsibility. The neighbor reached out to us on Airbnb complaining about guests at Burton. Leica was on call, but it was not her business unit. She took the initiative to use her customer service experience in drafting and sending a response for the neighbor. And the neighbor gave his contact information and has not complained again so far. So again, Leica comes to us with a hospitality background. She worked at hotels, and I like to call her Miss Marriott or Miss Hilton. Our team is composed of unique individuals with different experiences that give us unique backgrounds and skill sets. And she was able to use her skill set and experience and bring it to the table as a strength. And even though it wasn't her business unit, she took initiative and was able to resolve the issue. She didn't have to check in with the head of STR, JM, or Merrill to see what the update was. She just went ahead and handled it. And we actually created a training video based on that experience. I thought she did an amazing job at that. And we use that in our future trainings as well. Perseverance. Overcoming challenges. Life is all about challenges. You never know what you're going to get. But sometimes it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. It's all about overcoming these roadblocks that life gives you. We hire people that are a competitive advantage. Do you have the perseverance? Do you have the grit to overcome these challenges? Or do you just throw up your hands and say, it's not for me? These challenges are opportunities, as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to problem solve, and to challenge yourself. We're focused on trying to do things today and not tomorrow, address them head on and attack them as opposed to punting them. We're trying to move fast with speed and be open to feedback. One of the things about our organization is that people are open to feedback. Even myself as a leader, I'm open to feedback. I listen a lot to the customers. Ultimately, the customers are the ultimate boss or supervisor. So whenever I'm supervising a short-term rental turnover, and a guest comes up and talks to me, I always use that as an opportunity for feedback. I said, sir, how was your stay? Mr. or Miss John Smith, how was your stay? Did you enjoy your stay? Anything we could have done better? What did you like about the property? What did you not like about the property? And I take that negative feedback and I pass it to the team, and we create opportunities to get the property even better. What we're trying to achieve here is not just status quo. We're trying to push the envelope, get better, continuous improvement every day. So if someone says, "Oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that," okay, let's put it in the list. Let's make it better. So that creates an opportunity. So instead of saying like, "Oh, he's attacking our property because he thinks our property is not good," I said, "No, it's a great opportunity. He's going to make the property better for the next guest ahead of him." So it's really a mindset. How do you see this? Do you see this as a negative thing where the person's attacking your ego because they think your property is not great? Or do you say, wow, what a great opportunity to make the property even better for the next guest? Because that's what we're trying to achieve. We're not focusing on the past or the present. We're trying to make it better for the future. An example of this is our hiring process. Our hiring process is intentionally very difficult for the sole reason of testing someone's perseverance. So this is for the VAs. We have a written assessment they have to pass. We have an initial first round video interview with cultural questions. They do personality tests and reference checks. They have a second video interview, and then they have one pager assessment, a third round interview, a final decision, and then they hit the training boot camp. And once they hit the training boot camp, they're still not fully in the organization. They need to prove themselves in the training boot camp to see if they might be a great fit. And it's really a cool opportunity, not just for us to evaluate them, but for them to evaluate us. Say, wow, is TruPorch the right place to be? And ultimately, that's the test. Is, are you going to be happy and engaged here? Because we're trying to focus on people that are going to be here long term. We invest a lot of time and energy into growing our people. And if you're not going to be here a long time, we don't want to invest the time and energy in you. So ultimately, we want to build a long-term business. And part of that is finding long-term people that are a cultural fit, that are happy in our organization, that can continue growing with us. And if I could tell a story, it's sad to hear, but ultimately sometimes some of these sad decisions are the right decisions. We had someone that went through the entire process. They hit the training boot camp. And training boot camp is challenging. It's challenging for a reason. There are going to be a lot of things that you're going to be challenged by, learning in terms of SOPs, learning in terms of the company culture, how we operate. And we had one individual who came through the process and was overwhelmed. And I think she was used to an environment where she wasn't challenged, where she's just doing rote process tasks, and she wasn't willing to challenge herself to grow. You need to challenge yourself every day at this organization. That's part of our organization ethos, is challenging yourself, not as an organization, but also as an individual. So where were you yesterday? Where were you 6 months ago? Are you continuing to grow? Are you continuing to change and evolve? That's so important to us, not just from a professional level, but from a personal level. What are things that we're all working on? I'm working on things, even as an adult. So unfortunately, this woman, she didn't really adhere or appreciate the perseverance element of our culture. And because of that, she wasn't necessarily taking all the material in. And unfortunately, we had to go our separate ways. But ultimately, that's the right decision, because she would have struggled and she wasn't happy in our organization. We want to find people that are going to be successful and thrive in our organization. Detail oriented. Details drive perfection. The devil is in the details. One digit or letter can affect the whole message. We spend a lot of time researching information, trying to find the details, looking for cues, body language, facial expressions in the interviews. We'll do video playback of the interviews and look at some of the facial expressions. I say, like a JM, did you see that that person, they rolled their eyes? Did you see that? Did you see this person toss their hair back? Did you see how this person struggled to answer your question? I don't look at what they say, I look at what they do and how they present it. The body language, is a little bit harder to fake than the words that are coming out. So, and again, I say this all the time, and I said this to JM. A lot of the things are in the details. So if I say to JM, JM, you're bad, that's not a good thing from your boss, right? But if I say to JM, you're bad, it's the same words. It's the same words that are coming out of my mouth. However, the context of it and the tone are the details, and how you take that message, they mean two very different things. Now, I was using it as an example, and I have no intention of that second one may be a little bit less professional in a work setting. But again, you could see how you could say the same words and have a different intonation and have a completely different meaning. And part of that is driven by the details. The details drive a lot of decision-making perfection. So no detail is too small. It's especially important in the hospitality business because details drive reviews and ratings and feelings and emotions. And that's an important part of our operations on the short-term rental side. We're trying to drive perfection, and that drives customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction drives reviews. Reviews drive bookings, drive more revenue. So it's all part of a process here that we're trying to do. Ultimately, that is an important part of our culture, is to drive details and detail-oriented. So, for instance, let's go through an example: environmental health. So this is the business of the floor plan on the basement. So the first floor plan got approved by the environmental health, submitted to Gwinnett County, but was not pointed out the 2 baths were specified in the permit. We had to resubmit the permit to environmental health and then to Gwinnett County. It set us back for a week. So I think it's important to realize that, these detail things, checking and double checking. That's why sometimes we have checks and balances. So, someone does the work, someone checks that work. So we have an entire hierarchy of people making sure that details are checked. And, real estate is a lot of basic tasks, but they have to be done at a very high level to be consistent, but also to make sure that no details are missed or overlooked. Resource-driven solutions. Our company is a lot about research. We make decisions based on gathered data. We utilize the resources available. We have standardized processes to continue to improve on them, and we practice scientific thinking. Here's an example. So this is an example of an A3 worksheet that we use to problem solve. So we need to try and make the best decisions possible. We use a lot of information and data to try and make the best decision. And a lot of times that happens, other people have gone through a similar process. So we always try to check the internet to see what other people have done in terms of confronting the problem and what they've tried, what they haven't tried, and what's worked and what hasn't worked. So, for instance, one of the things that we had issues with, where we're trying to figure out this type of caulk to use on the exterior of a house. So the analyst at the time was doing a lot of research on the internet, on Reddit, but also Stack Exchange for maintenance work, to try and figure out what would be the best solution to a problem that we were having and to try and address that. So again, not to say that we're going to make all the right decisions all the time, but if we can leverage past experience, and not just our past experience as TruPorch Homes, but other people's past experience, to try and be successful in the future, we should try to do that. Self-development. Our organization is made out of positive, growth-oriented people with mindset. You have to be open to learning, developing new sets of skills. Kaizen is a Japanese word for continuous improvement. We're continuing to try and get better and to improve every single day. We use the ability to use previous experiences and adapt and to continue to grow. How you view things in perspective. Always be open to raising the bar. Think and act big, investing on developing each other. If I could share a personal story with the audience, I was working with JM on a design piece, and this is the first time he was doing. I think he was doing a furniture design, furniture selection, or a flyer design. And he had a first draft, and he sent it to me, and we sat down and talked about it. And I gave him some feedback, and he said, "Oh man, I got it wrong." I said, "JM, you didn't get it wrong." And words are a powerful thing. So I said, "JM, you didn't get it wrong. What's the first time? How many times have you done this before?" And JM says, "It's my first time doing it." I said, "JM, if this is your first time doing it, do you expect everything to be perfect? If you've gone swimming for the first time, do you expect to be an Olympic swimmer? If you start riding the bike the first time without training wheels, do you expect to be Tony Hawk? Do you expect to be a BMX bicyclist? Do you expect to be Lance Armstrong? No, you can't be." So I said, "JM, don't reword it. It's not a mistake. This is a learning opportunity. You've been given a gift. You've been given a gift. Your first time doing something, you didn't get it wrong. You have a learning opportunity. You have an amazing learning opportunity to continue to get better." So after he did that, really, really shifted his mindset, because a lot of times, we're really hard on ourselves as people. And sometimes it gets to a point where it's not productive. So I think it's important to think about, how do we take these experiences that we had, that maybe we had some setbacks, maybe it wasn't the outcome you wanted, but how can you take them and turn them into something positive? Here's another example, and JM is one of our favorite examples of self-growth and self-development. Um, you know, During the interview, James asked to train, and he's here to learn. So James' personality, he's a bit shy, a little timid, reluctant to share his thoughts and ideas. But we asked him to do interviewing actually with the VAs. And so that really pushed him outside his comfort zone and his envelope a little bit to do things that he wasn't used to doing in his normal routine. Sometimes fear holds us back from trying new things, and not because of an actual fear of death or physical harm, but just because of our personality and our backgrounds. If we can push ourselves beyond what we think is possible, we can achieve things we never imagined would be possible. So, now he's a key member in deciding our hiring process. So we always ask for his feedback, and he actually nailed a lot of people of what we thought was going to happen. So hopefully this video was helpful for you to understand what our organization is about. These are our core values. This is what holds us together as an organization. And these are the things that are commonality within our culture. Well, thank you so much for spending time to watch this video, and hopefully you learn a little bit more about TruPorch Homes.